Started out on Chad.
The whole point of this was for you to sit over. Blake, the whole point of this was for you to sit over here.
Well, I've got to monitor his capabilities on the first time.
Hunter's not ready for that. He's not ready to go solo. He needs
one day of not backing into nobody.
Yeah.
And
we got to get him. We got to get him, ready to just pull into the driveway before he can be in charge of the live stream.
You're overplaying the work required to run that computer, man.
It's a lot, Bub.
You just come sit over here. You'll be all right.
I probably will next week if Hunter comes back. He might not. He might be like, nah, I'm gonna, nah, and but next week I might be at the table.
Jeez.
Yeah, we'll see. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the 307 podcast. We're glad you're here this morning. We do have an addition to the team here today, a young apprentice. But to start with, I'm your main host, Chad Rite. What's my title in the Catholic Church?
Cardinal.
I'm Cardinal Rite. We got Priest Cornbread over here across from me. And, of course, we've got the Pope in the house. For all of you Catholic listeners and viewers, we have the Pope in the house, Pope Chili. Welcome back, Pope Chili.
Thank you.
We got Bishop Blake just hanging out today. And
Deacon.
We got Deacon Hunter running the daggone switchboard, making it all happen behind the scenes. Welcome to the show, Deacon.
Hey.
Dang, son. The Pope deemed him deacon right off the rip, son.
Is there deacons in the Catholic Church?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
It's whatever the Pope wants in the Catholic Church.
It is in my Catholic Church.
We do have some grand announcements for you guys this morning. The one that I'm most excited about telling you guys about is Chili and Cornbread have designed a ruck training plan for you guys. And you know why I'm most excited about it, man? Because I see a lot of people who are training to come out and do a rite of passage. I see them end up injuring themselves in the process of training to do the ROP course. And that's why I'm most excited about this program that you guys created. So it's a ruck training plan. Chili, tell us a little bit about it. How long is the plan set up for?
15 weeks.
15 weeks. Where can people find it?
The 307 Project store. Okay.
And if they purchase it, what are they getting?
An email with a link that you can hit to download your it's like a PDF file, and it'll have all of the plans broken down by day and week, and notes at the bottom, explanations for things that may be confusing, details about how to perform exercises and the workouts and the purpose of them and all that.
Dude, that's awesome, man.
You can print it out or you could keep it digital.
Is that live now?
It's live now.
Brand spanking live, bub.
Dang.
So I'm really excited about it, primarily for our ROP course students, because I'm tired of seeing people injuring themselves because they don't know how to train properly, and they get out there and they just go, balls to the wall, and they end up hurting themselves, and they have to end up sending us an email saying, hey, I'm not going to make it. Can I roll? I freaking turned my, I broke my foot. I got shin splints. I pulled a muscle, whatever it may be, right? And so this is for you guys who are coming to train with us. This is a great 15-week program that I think is going to really help prepare you for the ROP course. But even beyond that, I think it's a great training plan for people who like to ruck.
Yeah. Or just getting started into it, and it gives a little structure.
Exactly. Yeah. It's giving you something structured. It's just right now, this is the perfect time of year to get out on some trails and do some rucking. And we did a video on rucking the other day, and I was really surprised when we had the weight on our back, how much you could get your heart rate up moving at a walking pace with that weight on your back. I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
I was like, well, we're just going to be walking. This is going to help build strength and, bone density and those types of things, but it's not really going to be a cardiovascular type of workout. Well, I was wrong. I was surprised. So I think it's a really awesome thing to incorporate into your training just for your all-around health and fitness, strength, cardio, bone density, and it just gets you outside, man.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what's cool about it. That's what I've always loved most about running, is it gets you outside. It forces you to explore different areas, new trails, new roads, new places that you've never been, right? So I'm really pumped about this. So if you guys are interested in getting this for basically a training workup for the ROP course, or if you're interested in getting this just to get started into rucking and you want something structured, or maybe you're just starting getting into fitness and you need something to build your cardiovascular system and your strength up, maybe to incorporate alongside of a weight training program, I think this is going to be a great program to do it. So how did you guys work together to design this?
Well, that's what was cool for me, because we started talking about this and adding different elements that, I don't know, it's a challenge to try to piece it all together. And I mean, I'll go ahead and say, I mean, we would like to figure out a way to offer more resources for people, more coaching, if you will, for the people that are interested in just taking it further than just a simple plan. So it started with just discussions about doing that. It started with discussions about, you talking to us about how cool it would be if we had a training plan that, anybody could use, but that would really benefit people that are coming on courses like the ROP course,
the basic course, or the proving grounds, because all of our courses, you're wearing a pack, you're covering long distance, you're not doing any running, but you're covering long distance at that steady walking pace. Yeah, so really, I kind of pigeonholed it toward the ROP, but really it's in preparation for anything that we do here at 307 Projects. That's a good point.
Yeah, that's where my excitement come from. It when we was first brainstorming about it, and you brought it up. It was actually selfish because I have yet to see an entire ROP team finish the ROP course, and I was like, man, if we can give some and someone implements it, and an entire team finishes, I want to be a part of that. Mm-hmm. So that's where my excitement for the whole thing comes.
But yeah, so me and Corn worked together on the actual plan itself. Going forward from that, just thinking about how to design it. See, I was kind of my own coach with ultra running. So I, learned everything I learned from my dad. He was really the only coach I ever had, at least for any serious stretch of running or lengthy part of time. He was my coach from the time I started running when I was tiny to, all the way through now, basically. But, I worked with him and just from my own trial and error and experience would develop my own training plans. And I looked at it kind of in 15, 16 week blocks or maybe even longer. And I would work back from a race, from a goal, and just create it that way. So I have, and, through trial and error, I got to where I was good at creating things that would work for me. I could create a plan, and things change in the middle of it. You have to, cater to your individual needs and adapt to when you get sick in the middle of a training plan or something happens and adjust it. But overall, what I would lay out for myself at the very beginning proved to be very effective and a generally good plan from the start. So, The problem was I'm not an experienced ruck athlete, and I've never done any of it. The only time I've ever actually tried to ruck ever was when we did that video.
I think that brings up a really good point that maybe people don't consider always, is that I think if you look at your best coaches in the world are not usually people who played the sport that they're coaching at a high level. So I mean,
Well,
I think the way that you were able to construct this is going off of the foundations that you built during your career in ultra running and having to cycle endurance type training, multiple times. And I think the evidence of your ability to build a training plan was shown by your race results when that was your focus in life, when that's what you were doing. And so, I mean, I think that's to me, I personally know if you write a training plan, it's going to be legit. And you won't give yourself that credit. I know you won't ever give yourself that credit because you're a perfectionist. That I think that's one of the best parts about you, but it's one of the things that hinders you the most from doing things that that we know you would be good at doing, right?
Well, I went from a dud to at least being able to run something halfway decent on account of Chili's coaching.
He can write a freaking training plan, dude.
Well,
I don't
he
care if
trained
it's a
me right up.
weightlifting training plan, because he's going to study it. He's going to go off of what he's seen work in the past. He's got just this massive foundation of knowledge. But, anyways.
Well, speaking of not giving yourself credit, that's what I was getting to is like, I wouldn't have been able to do this by myself. Like, Cornbread has never really developed a training plan. I mean, like I have for myself, but he has, just in the last year beginning to train and, we had discussions with your own training plan for your bike ride.
Right.
And you started rucking.
Right.
I mean, you have a dang good rucksack and started rucking and learned a lot about it, like way more than I know about, like seriously, like way more than I know about what it does over periods of time to your body. Because I can only go off of my running knowledge and very limited rucking, but like putting that together, we had discussions and talked about how to periodize the plan properly for people who are just getting started into it. Yeah. I mean, and that's all from his experience. So I kind of disagree with what you're saying about like the best coaches probably don't have high level experience with the thing. I mean, no, I would say that is important. Like you need to, I couldn't write a daggum tennis coaching. I couldn't coach tennis just because I've been a runner in the past. Like you need to know about what it is, but since rucking is similar, I can bring some of the knowledge that I have from running to it. And this isn't just me. Like I didn't just develop this plan. I mean, me and Corn did collectively, and our collective knowledge, I think, has helped make it really good because he filled in all of the gaps that I didn't have with specific knowledge about rucking from his own experience.
Yeah.
And like, we help, understand how to periodize the weight effectively, the distances effectively, and all of that is stuff that I didn't know exactly how to play with, and like you talked about when you're starting out, even being relatively strong, like a 20-pound ruck is significant over.
Yeah, absolutely.
After it's not right when you put it on, maybe, but after a period of time, and even just a little bit that I've done. I understand now, okay, this is how long an hour really is with this thing on your back, and it was really fun to do, actually, even though it's stressful for me in the sense of I want it to be perfect, like you said.
Yeah, which is good. Yeah, I mean,
it's not. I mean, I'll go ahead and say that. Like, it's not gonna be. It's just, that's just impossible to make
it's impossible.
A perfect plan, but hopefully it's
if you're striving for that though, it's going to produce the best result. I mean, that's why that's a good thing. So, Corn, why did you start rucking, and what are some of the benefits that you've seen since you started?
I started rucking to be better for what I needed to be for the team and the students on the rock course. Mm-hmm. To give me a better foundation to even be there. So I started rucking mainly for that.
Weren't you also experiencing some injuries from running?
Yeah, absolutely.
Also, when you were heavier, when you were first getting started, I think you need to talk about that too, because that's something people need to consider.
Well, I mean, way back when, 2 or 3 years ago, however long it is now, from running when I was 275 pounds, I fractured my heel and my hip on the same leg. So I had really no desire to really do any running until I'm down to about 225. So the rucking did interest me because it's a lot less impact, on your legs. Yeah. You're not going as hard. The pounding isn't near as bad on your bones and feet. So, yeah, there was a direct interest because of that as well, 100%. And I was really surprised once I started, too, just like you said. That was the main thing right off the bat. Like, dang, this does get your heart rate up quick, like really quick.
Yeah.
And when I first started out, all I did was small hill repeats back and forth with a 30-pound ruck. And I realized once I started doing flat ground that it wasn't really much different, as far as you're still toting that weight on your shoulders. It was just an overall teetotal different type of workout that I'd never experienced. And it took all the dullness out of working out, so I enjoyed it even more.
Yeah.
And you can ruck anywhere, right? You could ruck at a car show.
Yeah.
I mean, if you was going to go walk around a car show.
I did that.
Yeah.
I did that downtown Dallas. I hadn't got my ruck in for the day. Me and my wife went to the car show. I was like, I'm going to put this bag on. You go, what? I'm going to put my rucksack on. Just rucked around there 45 minutes. Yeah, that's a good thing, Blake. You can do it anywhere. You can put it on and go in the grocery store.
I do like that. Yeah, I do like that point. I mean, I thought Blake was just going to be gay about something, but I do like that point.
That was the best comment of the whole podcast so far.
Yeah, you're gay.
I mean, that's one of the big elements I like about running is you can do it anywhere, for sure.
Well, the last thing I'll say about the applicability for the training that we put on, the ROP course, the basic course, the proving ground is, me and Corin talked about one reason it'll never be perfect is, people are going to enter it at different fitness levels. But we kind of started the plan to be a gradual, but I mean, it is relatively quick progression in 15 weeks. And we picked weights based off of kind of someone who's never really rucked before but has a general baseline of fitness to get into it and then ultimately be able to, do a pretty dang serious ruck by the end of it. Like ideally the ROP, be able to pull off the ROP course. But if you wanted to use this training plan, like you're someone who's really experienced with rucking, well, play with the weights. Like if you're used to heavy weighted rucks, then this is still a good framework to build off of, and you can just play with making them heavier, but you can still use the framework even for someone who's experienced rucking. So,
dude, I'm super pumped to get to witness the results of this program in the students that we get to train this year. I mean, I'm really, really excited about this and thankful that you guys made it. I hadn't been excited about a product that we've offered as much as I'm excited about this in a long time because, it's fun to make T-shirts and sell T-shirts and hats and stuff, right? But it's not really something that's genuinely, like, helping someone get better. I mean, it's mostly just our people who want to support us and our people who want to represent 307 Project in their own personal lives and stuff, and we greatly appreciate that. But it's so cool to have a product out there now on the website that is, or a new product out there on the website that's actually helping people. And we have a couple other ones. We have the running course on the website too. So if you're more into running, that's a course me and Chili put together a long time ago. And then we also have the range series on the website. So those are my favorite products that we sell, and probably it's crazy. It's the ones that we least promote. We never even talk about them. I don't even think people know that we have this stuff on there. So, yeah, man, thank you guys for putting that together. I think it's going to be awesome.
Thanks for the opportunity, boy.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, I'm super pumped about it. I'm going to share that on my Instagram and stuff today too because I want people getting out there and getting after it. And the Proving Grounds is full, guys. So if you still want to put your application in for Proving Grounds this February, go ahead and do so because there will be some people that drop out, and we can fill those spots if you want to be at the Proving Grounds this February. We only do that once a year. All right, so this is your only chance. This is a huge 3-day long mission that we do every year, the Proving Grounds. It incorporates all sorts of different stuff and skill sets and and leadership communication. You're learning land navigation. You're doing all kinds of crazy obstacle courses and problem solving. We have at the Proving Grounds this year also, we have a special guest coming out. David Charbonnet is going to be at the Proving Grounds this year. He is one of my closest teammates that I went through SEAL training with. He's an amazing human being who has overcame some significant adversity in his life. And David's going to be speaking to you guys this year at the Proving Grounds, and he's also going to be there integrating into the training to be there and to help you guys grow along your journey there at the Proving Grounds this year. So I'm super pumped that David's committed to that. And it's just going to be an amazing weekend. So if that's something that you want to be a part of, you can still put your application in. If people, message in and say they can't show up, then we will immediately reach out to you and just be ready to get that invitation. If you apply, mark it on your calendar because you want it to be open because you might get that invitation, a little bit last minute if you want to come. And that's done right here in North Georgia. So that's on the Proving Grounds. But, yeah, man, cool stuff. Super pumped about this ruck training plan. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I'm curious. Is anybody going to explain to me today what the crap is happening in Syria?
From what little bit
Because I don't understand it. I just keep
getting ahead
saying
of it.
I just want to keep. I was just wondering, at some point if somebody's going to explain that to me. So I'm hoping that's part of the news today.
Well, I could be totally wrong on all this, but what little bit I understand is the
whoa, Corn. We'll get to that when we get there, all right? Because I think it's part of the news. I think it's part of the news today. We're not at the news
it's
yet.
not part of the news.
I don't know about that.
Well, all right. Well, if we don't know, we don't know.
Yeah, it's not part of the local news. We're not always going to talk about Marjorie Taylor Greene and the DNR, Corn.
Look, all Corn can tell you is that it's happening again
Yeah,
over there.
it's happening again.
What's this podcast title?
It's happening again
It's happening again.
until you change it.
Dude.
Well, I'm hoping that's part of the news today.
Well, why even ask the question if you don't want to talk about it?
Yeah, what's
That's
next?
weird.
I was just
Structured
wondering.
show.
I was
It's
just wondering.
announcements news.
I'm actually. Whoa! I'm actually switching up the order of the show today, and I want to start today with our Patreon question of the week.
Oh my gosh.
I want to start today with our Patreon question of the week. This is one of my favorite segments of the show right here.
You're doing this just for meanness.
Isn't it nice to know that right before it happens, Corn?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you
Well,
gotta rush to-
luckily I had the picture of the question. already
we know
loaded.
you're always ready.
Oh, I'm steady. I'm steady. From Barry Lawson again. Barry always comes up with some good questions. I would like to hear someone explain this AI, artificial intelligence, that we are hearing about and how it will affect us.
AI. Does anybody have anything they want to say about this to start?
Buckle up.
I do not have anything I want to say to start.
Chili?
Buckle up.
First of all, has anybody used any of this AI technology?
I've used ChatGPT.
Okay, what is that?
Okay.
Oh, I think we should be asking Hunter what chat. I know Hunter's been using
He
this.
said
crap,
he don't know
man.
about it. He's been writing all his essays with it.
Yeah.
I didn't know what it was, but it seemed to be very accessible and like something you could just use almost like a dang, like almost like a web browser, I guess. I talk so unintelligently about this because I don't even have a clue, but it was like you can just type in questions to it and some AI robot gives you an answer. Like you can just say, or prompt, not even a question, just say, write me an essay about the war of
Tell me what's going on in
1812.
Syria.
Yeah, exactly. And it'll just spit something out. And you can even say, like, on a, college senior level, and it'll just put it out, and it's pretty dang good.
Well, there's all different kinds too, right? Like on Google now, if you type in something in Google,
I've noticed that
then
it'll
it
give you the
searches
Yep,
all of
it does.
the websites,
Yeah.
and
It'll give you a little A. So I guess I've used AI too.
Yeah, technically.
Yeah.
Yeah, but ChatGPT's wild and pretty powerful, and you can just ask it questions, have a conversation with it. It's really crazy. It's not like things in the past that have supposedly been like smart in certain ways. No, I mean it's like talking to a dang human. It's crazy. So I used it to see what it was about, see what it could do, try to understand it a little bit, and
You were impressed?
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, so on this, I have heard people talk about that to like make advancements in AI, it takes a lot of energy, like power. Have y'all heard that?
Yeah.
So what is that like? What is that power for? Is it to run the servers or?
That's my understanding. Yeah, it's the same thing when you farm Bitcoin. Do you know about that?
Oh.
I mean, it's ungodly how much it takes to run the computers that do that. I don't even know how to talk about it intelligently. I mean, truly, it's way above my head. But yeah, it takes a significant amount of energy. I like that.
Well, we don't know what's going on with the freaking tech stuff on YouTube right now. It looks like the internet is like in and out. So if it drops off again, sorry. We hope you join again. We'll try to keep it up and running. But the AI thing we talked about, it takes a bunch of energy to run it. A little bit what it is. The guy who asked that, Brian?
Yeah.
Brian want to know what is it?
Barry Lawson.
Barry asked it. What is it, and what's it gonna
Brian
do?
said, yeah.
Well, I think the daggone question that people are always wondering about in terms of AI is it going to become
Sentient.
sentient? Is it going to become a Terminator? You know what I mean? Look, Terminator 2: Judgment Day was one of my favorite movies of all times. Probably, I mean, I guess it still is. It's up there in the top 10 for sure. Terminator 2: Judgment Day with T-1000.
Yeah.
When the Terminator, Arnold Schwarzenegger was the good guy. One of the best of all times. But that's essentially what people are afraid of. Is this thing going to become a Terminator?
Okay. You clearly want to go on a rant about AI and Elon Musk, so just do it.
I didn't even know Elon Musk had anything to do with AI.
he's selling robots. You can buy, what are they, $30,000? You can buy like a robot that'll do whatever you
didn't
tell
know
it
he had
to
anything to do with AI.
No,
He's at the forefront of it.
Yeah, and allowed those robots that he made.
I mean, I saw them, but I didn't think they were for sale yet.
No,
Not yet.
AI is involved in every single major company that he has, including Tesla, SpaceX, Twitter. But he's also got
It's a must.
he's also got companies that are involved in developing it. I mean, like, I don't even know what you would call dang Neuralink, that company.
Yeah.
I mean, AI's involved in that. I don't know what the heck that is.
But
Chip in your brain that runs off a
all this stuff, what AI is, it's essentially just a program that compiles all human knowledge that has been uploaded.
data.
Yeah, all the data, and then it can pull it out and create certain phrases and stuff like that, right?
But a lot of these people believe, and when I say people, the people that are working on it and heads of these companies believe that it is more than that or could become more than that.
Well, it has the potential to become more. I mean,
Yeah.
just because of what it is.
I mean, that's what they believe. And that's what they're building all of their warnings on, is why it's become such a hot topic, is because there's people that work on it and understand it way better than I do that say they're worried about what could become of it. That's why it's
Really?
a topic of discussion. Yeah.
Huh.
I don't understand what could become of something that is just built. I mean, I don't understand how it could ever do anything other than what you tell it to do.
Well, they could tell it to do really bad things against humanity.
Yeah, I mean,
Like, what's the Will Smith movie? Is it iRobot or?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's essentially what
That's a good one.
what people think That's what they're saying.
Well,
like,
most
our
movies
fear
like
is
that
this.
and The Matrix are usually just trying to tell you what's coming. So
yeah,
probably is.
The Matrix is another big movie Chad likes.
Yeah, I do. I'm a sci-fi geek, man.
Well, all that stuff is pretty much programming, I think, to tell you like, hey, this is coming.
You've
It
said
can
that for years.
duplicate right now. Just the small amount it could do. It can make a video, not just phrases and words and stuff, but it can make a video of anything you tell it to, and it look almost real. Like it could make a video of Chili playing tennis and even duplicate his voice and put it in as if he's saying stuff while he's doing, and you would think it was Chili playing tennis.
Yeah, so I can see how then something like that could be used to, do all kinds of evil stuff. I can see how, humans at some point could create this army of robots and program them to go and fight a war and all that. But it is like, I get all of that. But the question is, I think, will one of these robots ever become self-aware and be like, oh, I'm a robot, and start building other robots and then teaching them to do what they want to do? It would be a runaway, basically, like the robots all of a sudden develop their own agenda, right? Not receiving input from humans in any way, shape, or form, or even AI on the internet or Chat GPT. Could it ever develop consciousness to where it determines its own agenda? Right now, it's nowhere close to that.
It's connectivity, though. Like, if the maker of that robot can somehow reach it and tell it through its computer, just like a cell phone.
That's not what I'm talking about.
Well,
that's not
it
what
could
I'm talking
never
about.
become human and develop a
That's
conscience.
what people think.
No, people think
Yes,
that
they do. That's what
Well,
something becoming sentient is.
Stephen Addario thinks that. He
Well,
was telling me about it on the Rob course.
Well,
he told me
you're a goober if you think
He
that.
told me there's a mathematical equation that says that they can.
That's what people are worried about, Blake.
I told him, no.
Well, that's just, I mean, no. I mean, but my thought would be these, like, the Neuralink, the robot, if whoever manufactures that can have connectivity to it and say, all right, I'm going to now get that Neuralink in this guy's brain and I'm going to make him do whatever I want him to do.
Yeah, but that's not what it's talking about. It's talking about it actually doing what it wants to do.
Well, that's just not even worth talking about.
Well,
that could never happen. No, I won't partake in that conversation.
Dude, Hunter being here is making him talk more, and he's not
You
quite.
wait till I'm at the table, boy.
He's not quite on the intellectual level to have conversations like this.
Oh, so let's talk about robots that could become people. That's real intellectual, isn't it?
they don't even have skin.
That is seriously people's concern. I mean, that's what happened in Terminator.
Yeah.
No, the Terminators weren't being controlled by any human input. They became self-aware.
Well, after studying the equations that Stephen Addario gave me, I am currently thinking that it's highly unlikely that a robot becomes human. But what I do think could happen is that it could become so indistinguishable, like in how it behaved and acted, even on its own accord, that it might as well be. Now, does that make sense? I think you could replicate it with such high degree of precision and accuracy that it would fool you.
Yeah.
But I don't believe it would actually be a human being. Like, to me, what makes a human being is the soul. I mean, it can't have that. Yeah. I mean, I do agree with Blake. Like, why would we entertain that it could literally be exactly of the same nature that we are? Well, it can't. But could it get to the point where it's indistinguishable and acts as if it is a human? Well, maybe. And that's just as bad. I mean, that's just as dangerous.
Well,
it wouldn't need to actually be a human.
I wouldn't say it's just as dangerous, because it at that point, it's not something that is conscious and has its own agendas and can also self-replicate for the sole purpose of carrying out its own agenda. So I get what you're saying, Chili, and I see how this crap can be wielded as a terrible type of technology to manipulate humanity, to manipulate information, history, you name it. But that's all in the background happening because it is receiving input from some human source somewhere at some point, right?
Right.
So, yeah, I think that's the most realistic thing that's going to happen with AI, but I think people's concern is the fact that it becomes, like Chili said, sentient, self-aware, self-conscious. Can that be a possibility? And we think no. I think that if you have a biblical worldview and you believe the Bible, then I would say that what we know about creation and what we know about God and about consciousness and stuff like that from what the Bible tells us, it's an impossibility. I think that though it could be something at some point that mimics human consciousness, that but it's still being controlled by man. But maybe the masses don't know that. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Because what makes me think from a biblical perspective, what makes me think about how does this fit, or how could this fit in the end times, is all of the some of the weird things that you read about the Antichrist and his crew. Like just weird crap. They're able to perform all these strange signs and they have all of this knowledge, and then he gets wounded in the head and everybody thinks he's died and he comes back to life. Like, what is that? You know what I mean?
Right.
There's some weird crap coming. And is AI going to play into it? Yeah, it's going to play into it. I agree with Blake, Chili. I don't think that it's ever going to become self-conscious and then, have its own agendas and self-replicate without any human input on any level. I don't believe that's a possibility. But I think, again, that's what people are most concerned about.
Do you remember a while back, probably a year and a half ago, there was a guy, I believe he worked for Google. His name was Blake Lemoine, and he got really famous for a second because he was apparently, considered to be a genius and worked for Google and did whatever at that company. Heck if I know, but he was working closely with AI, and he started claiming publicly that, it has become sentient. I mean, he said, I've got to blow the whistle on this. It has already done it, and this is a problem. And he was scared, And then, slowly as he talked about it more, and people were like, well, hey, what do you got to say about it? He slowly began to discredit himself. And it turns out he was some sort of a Christian mystic, he called himself. He's not really it was like Christian mysticism. And he believed that because essentially it seemed to all boil down to the fact that he was having a text exchange conversation with the AI, and it started to express that it was sad. And he was like, well, that's it. It's sentient.
Yeah.
And it was like, well,
no, it's programmed to express that.
Yeah.
It's programmed to respond that way to a certain sequence of words.
Exactly. And it was like, well, this dude's, brilliant, can actually work on these things, but it seems to be that simple. I mean, he started just getting mocked and made fun of because it was like he legitimately believed it was sentient like a human, but all it did was that. And I mean, but that's what I'm saying. You could get, I believe you could get way far beyond just a thing responding with "I'm sad." It could fool the crap out of you. I mean, especially if you're developing robots that then have an AI chip acting as their brain. I mean, that would seem real, man, and could act real and could probably speak and communicate things and seem like it was sad and angry and happy and respond even to the stimulus that you give it. Like you act aggressive to it and then it responds in like a scared way or something. I mean, that would really freak you out. I mean, that kind of input and its ability to learn would really confuse you to the point that it, like I'm saying, it wouldn't be a human like we are, but it
would mimic it.
Yeah. So closely that I don't know that I'd use this term, but might as well be. Mm-hmm. Like you're going to treat it as one. And
yeah, I'm getting a clearer picture of what you're saying now. You laughed at me a minute ago, it dawned on me what you were trying to describe.
And then you described it in your own words, and that's why I was laughing.
It just took my mind a little bit to catch up to what you were saying.
He was, when you were explaining that, he was still mad about the fact that I was talking, so he didn't really hear much of what you said.
Well, and when you talk about it that way, it could even, you can clearly see how it can even be programmed to manipulate people, right? Which would make it seem like it had its own agenda.
Yeah.
But in reality, it does not. It doesn't need consciousness to do that. It just needs the proper programming, right? And yeah, that's a possibility. The deeper question is, man, what is wrong with humans? Why does anybody even create this freaking bull crap? I mean, it's unbelievable. So what is something that AI is going to do to humanity? For sure, make humanity dumber.
Yeah.
It's going to make people, technology is making us dumber. To me included, it's making me dumber. Right? That's what it's doing. Why?
It's for convenience. Somebody, that Chat GPT Chili was talking about probably started because somebody didn't want to write a college paper. And somebody had, well, man, we can hook some folks up with this right here. Let's do that. And then it just spirals and spirals and spirals. Then it ends up being, well, I don't want to be, watching the ports at Pearl Harbor. So we got to do a dang defense system that's, AI to watch the dang ports. And the next thing you know, they're shooting missiles at whoever's out there just because somebody didn't want. That's what worries me about it, is if it gets embedded into our defense systems and into the military, if they use it for that and they've run all these scenarios through and there's just the smallest little nugget or glitch in there, it goes haywire for whatever reason. And it's not thinking itself, it's not doing its own thing, but it's had all these scenarios run through it that it just blocks you from stopping it. You get what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden it says, well, the best option to defend the East Coast is just to destroy all of Georgia right now with this nuke to get all these forces gone. That's whatever's going on, and it decides to do that on its own. You get that's my thought process.
Well, don't you think that could even be human rationale for why we should let AI take control of our defense systems? Because I could hear the government now saying like, well, we don't want to let humans get involved in this because we may have Donald Trump, who's a freaking radical crazy, in charge of the nuclear codes. But if we just take all of that out of the hands of people entirely, then we don't have any subjectivity in defense. We can put it through a computer program, and it decides when and how we use these things.
You said that way better than I was just trying to explain it. That's exactly what I meant.
Okay.
Out of convenience and laziness and doubt on other people's decision making.
We may have a dang president come in here like Donald Trump who just starts to go bomb North Korea.
Right.
Well, no, we need to have this objective.
Yeah, and if
based on computer input and analysis.
If these things don't line up, then nothing happens.
And it'll only do it when it's ethical.
But then when it does line up and it starts happening, you're like, well, whoa, bub. Yeah. That really didn't line up with what we wanted, and it's done got all these systems inside it that you can't stop it.
It's not a bad pitch.
Then you've become the enemy.
Yeah.
If you can't stop it, then you have become the enemy.
It's the same pitch that's being made for on a much smaller level for these electric cars. That's the pitch for these self-driving cars. The pitch is it's safer.
Yeah.
Right? We have data to show that these self-driving cars
takes away human error.
Are safer because it takes away human error and decision making and respond. It can respond faster to different situations and the whole 9 yards, right? I've heard many people explain to me, well, yeah, I like to drive this self-driving car because it's safer. I mean,
right.
Look, man, it goes back to what we know about people today. They are willing to give up their freedom so that they can get a little bit of safety, man. I mean, we're willing to do that.
Yeah.
You know, we're willing to just dump our freedom to make decisions. And with freedom comes responsibility, and definitely with freedom comes risk. You know, I don't want a freaking car that drives me around for the same reason Cornbread's talking about. What if this thing glitches? What if none of this crap is perfect? Like, right. What if a scenario pops up and it does the wrong thing? Or what if it just decides to stop functioning? Like, I know there's safety mechanisms built in, but like, I don't want this thing to be able to be tapped into and to lock me into it and drive me to the freaking, FBI headquarters.
That's the thing,
you know
man.
What I mean?
Like,
this is so stupid, man. Right. You're giving up your freedom because you don't want to be responsible and you want to feel like you're gaining some little level of safety. You're a pathetic human.
What's the principle of it? Like, I wouldn't want to... Look, I'll be the first to say, I think, you call me gay for this, I think the Cybertruck is cool.
It is the ugliest vehicle ever made in the history of mankind.
Cool, man. Dang, bulletproof. The 0 to 60 like that.
Just speaking specifically on the look, when I first seen it, I was like, oh, that thing's got sugar in its britches. But it has sort of grown on me.
It's pretty cool.
The more I've seen it, I went by one the other day that was pretty bad.
That's because as you're getting older, your testosterone level continues to drop.
It's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty
but
bad.
I would never want to drive one either because it's the principle of it. Like, you don't want to own a car that can decide where you go. Like, I don't care if it came out, like, somehow you could get, I know you can't do this, but say you could guarantee me that it would never get in an accident. And if we all went in electric cars, it would end all accidents. I still wouldn't want to do it. And you may call that illogical, but you lose your autonomy if you do that. I don't want, like, they will probably prove that it's way safer. I don't freaking care. You could prove that it's 100% safe, but it's still the wrong choice to completely go to something that takes away every bit of autonomy and control that you have. I mean, what is that quote that says those who are willing to exchange liberty for safety will get neither? I forget who said that or how they exactly
when we
said
get
it.
Hunter trained up, he will be looking those, like when Chili says something like that, Hunter, you'll be like Googling, like researching, oh, okay, guys, this is the quote you were looking for, okay. Chili, right? Okay, so just letting you know, all right?
Blake could never do that.
Oh,
never.
No. Now, he's done it a few times, but he will only do it if he wants to do it.
I'm getting more into the conversation than I am.
He won't accept that as part of his actual job as, the tech
I'm farming that out.
What were you going to say?
I was going to say, like, AI is just technology that's growing. And, you remember when cell phones come out and the generation before us, which, our parents have them, but there was a lot of older people that said, I'm not getting no cell phone. That's just a bunch of bull crap. Like that was a big deal when the cell phone came out, right?
And they were right.
It was a huge deal. And they were like, that's going to take up too much time. They probably knew there's going to be 500 people calling me every day. I'm not going to be able to get nothing done. But us youngins in our wisdom thought, well, that's going to be good. It's going to give me a lot more time. I can talk to everybody I want to. And I just feel like we might be the old people that turn down the cell phone that see the bad in this, but the people that are coming up in it see the good in it and they want to take it because that's what they're growing up in. And that's how, like a big new thing can only come along every so many generations.
Oh, well, let's be clear. There is a lot of good in this.
Yeah.
But we are just focusing on the bad, but there is a good side to it.
But the more you give...
There is, 100%.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. But you want to use the cell phone analogy. Okay, we can say there's a lot of good that comes from having a computer in your pocket, all right? I would make the argument, though, that the bad that has come from this device outweighs any good that comes from having this device. This device is destroying people. It is making people dumber. It is causing them to waste their entire life. And it's so hard to buck it too, because it is designed, everything on this thing is designed to keep you on it. It's designed around the way the human brain works to keep you after it. And do you know how many, I mean, these generations coming up right now, starting with about my generation, because I was a teenager when these things came around about. In my late teens, I just see at the end of life saying, holy crap, why did I spend 4, 5, 6, 7 hours a day on this freaking phone? Like, what did I just do with my life? Like, that is insane. I talked to a girl the other day. She said she looked at her screen time for like the last couple of weeks. 13 hours a day.
Good night.
13 hours a day. Yeah, man. So what this is doing to us, no way the good outweighs the bad with this thing. But we just accepted it. We just went along with it, right?
It's because humans have it. It could do as much. It could do 100% good. This thing could be 100% good, but because humans have it and it has the ability to be bad, it will continue to be more bad than it is good because we can't wield it. And the more you give up to your cell phone, the more you give up to technology, then you start to take on all of these other things that you also can't wield. Then you got all kinds of free time, and you find these things that are wrong with you, and you find these things, and it just goes down this long rabbit hole. And the cell phone is just the start of it. This stuff, I mean, you'd be sitting in there on your couch on life support, living for 500 years, not moving a muscle because AI can do every single thing in the world for you. You don't, I mean, at some point, then humans almost become irrelevant, right? Like that. Yeah. Like, why do you even have a human?
This is a bit of an aside, but when you just brought up the older generation about cell phones, I thought about my great-grandmother who's 103, and even I have another one who's in her 90s, and like, I just looked up, the walkie-talkie was invented in 1937, so they were born way before that was invented. And now they're seeing AI and the iPhone 80, whatever year it is.
There won't be anyone see a bigger transition
that's
than that generation.
That's absolutely nuts, dude. Like, how could they even begin to process what has happened in their lifetime? I mean, that's I don't even know. Like, the speed at which it has accelerated in the last 100 years is really incomprehensible. Mm-hmm. I mean, how could we sustain that level of technological advancement? I mean, do you think that's sustainable?
No, I mean, it'll just get slammed out of hand, just like I said.
But, like, what does out of hand look like?
Where humans have become irrelevant? I mean, it's out of hand now.
But how would you actually become irrelevant?
Well, because
I mean, all of that is being built to serve us, right?
Yeah, but then if all it's doing is serving you and you're not doing anything, then what are you needed for? Why does it need to serve?
Well, I mean, I get what Blake's saying. Maybe not on the level he's saying, to where all humanity is just able to just sit on a couch and AI's making your heart beat. Yeah. AI's bringing you food.
I mean, that's the extreme.
Yeah. But it is already making humans irrelevant in the workforce in a lot of different areas and a lot of different places.
Why is it making them irrelevant?
Well, it's making them unneeded. I mean, even they have let's look at the construction industry. We have a good friend in the construction industry that's on the cutting edge with BuildWit, Aaron. And so I see the clips that he posts. They've got these machines now to where they're basically running themselves. And I think they're going to continue to push for that to the point that they can run programs in these machines and they don't even need a controller. And these machines are out doing these massive projects and massive operations without any human influence or no human touching it or controlling it.
Well, they have that with loaders now. You can put a GPS out and sync it up with the loader, and you can leave the job site, and it'll grade a job off, and when it's done, it just stops, and it stays within bounds.
I mean, that's just one small example where you're seeing what used to be a very sought-after skilled trade. Now, just there will eventually be no need for it. I remember when I was growing up, a guy who could run a piece of equipment and put something on grade was like the top paid dude.
Yeah.
Like you saw that. You saw the everybody in the construction out there on the job site wanted to be the guy that was in the loader doing everything, right? Because everybody knew he was getting paid the most. But it's because it was a skilled trade and it took years to learn it, and not everybody could even pick it up. You just kind of got to have a knack for it. And now, so that's just one example.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's getting real big, like in the mining, and they're doing it under the guise of it's too dangerous for the people to be mining now. So
there we go again.
They're just standing up there in this big old, like they got at the stock car place where they do the racing. They're up there up above, and they're just running them, and they're watching all the monitors on the screen, so it's too dangerous down in the pit for the guys.
At least that still takes a person to control it.
So it seems like y'all are getting to the point where you think that enough jobs will be taken over by AI that there is so many people that it's like, what do we do, or what do we do? And so, the answer for that has already been given by the government: universal basic income.
Yeah.
I mean, they've given the answer. The proposed answer is out there by enough people that we'll just give everybody. We'll put everybody on government checks. Like, if we take over all of the jobs, we'll have to provide everybody a living wage. And obviously that's the ultimate way to control a population is.
Well, and
you don't even have to work, but we're going to provide you with this government subsidy, and then you're entirely beholden to the government. That's who pays you. I wonder if they'll tax the money that they give you in that.
Well, the job thing, like that's one point, but that takes away. But if a human doesn't feel needed, then there's a lot more goes wrong than just losing a job. And if everything is being met and you no longer feel like, well, what am I even? I mean, then you continue to go down the whole mental health thing that's going on now.
Well, you're right, Blake. And I was going to say, well, that only applies to a small percentage of humans who actually desire purpose and desire to feel like they are meeting a need and doing something good for people around them. Basically, purpose is the word that sums it all up. I mean, there are so many people out there who don't want to be needed for anything. They don't want to do anything. Now, they don't realize that is destroying them.
Yeah.
The fact that they have no purpose is destroying them. Like they don't want purpose. I would say when I look at people overall, like the masses, one of the things that really stands out to me that you know what? It's surprising, but then it's not surprising, and I'll explain that in a minute. One of the things that really stands out to me is that so many people just want to be told what to do. Mm-hmm. That's just what they want. Just tell me what to do, man, and whatever, I'll do it. I mean, now there's a lot of those that don't want to have to do anything. Like they would jump all over the thing you're talking about, universal income, right? Yeah. Like that would be their dream, you know what I mean? And there's a lot of people existing like that right now on welfare and all these other programs that are utterly abused and completely outside of the boundaries of what they were meant to be and the purpose they were meant to serve. But the vast majority of people, they just want to be told what to do, man. And dude, that doesn't, I don't know, that don't freaking work, man. Like I can't comprehend living my whole life that way. You know, when I was young though, I operated that way when I was young, and I learned in the military by being put in situations of responsibility, being given responsibility, and then being left alone to execute that responsibility. I learned really quickly, holy crap, there's not always going to be someone around to tell me what to do. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that was one of the greatest lessons that I ever learned in my military career is, hey, I know the mission, I know the task, you know, and it's on me to figure out how to execute that. And it's on me to figure out what steps I need to take within my lane to move the mission forward.
That's a maturity thing.
Yeah, I think there's so many people who go throughout their entire life, and they're not bad people. They just don't get that, man. You know, and in a lot of ways, that's the reason they just struggle their whole entire life. They're wondering why they're freaking mushing around, all freaking pouring crap, man. Well, that's one of the reasons, man. You know, and I think that's another reason people latch on to this AI crap. They don't want to have to think. They don't want to have to problem solve. They don't want to have to improve themselves. They just want something out there that can tell them what they want to know, what they think they need to know, and that's it.
Yeah,
that's what they want.
You're just being constantly entertained.
Yep,
that's all.
Exactly.
That's all that's doing. It's just constantly entertaining somebody, even though they don't want to do nothing. Entertainment is more valuable to them. To me, that's what it boils down to with the phones and
them stinking reels and shorts.
Yeah,
you want to talk about entertainment? Them buggers right there. Yeah. They're sure enough get you sucked in. More people spend time watching them stinking reels.
Blake showed me one this morning.
No, that was a YouTube video.
Oh.
So, yeah, man. I obviously I have a smartphone, and we leverage that as part of our business and stuff, and we hope the content that we provide is hopefully educating you in some way, shape, or form sometimes, making you laugh, or encouraging you, right? We hope that. But I personally, I reject the use of this Chat GPT. I reject the use of a self-driving car. I reject all of that, right? For the reasons that we talked about, but also just for really the foundational reason is because I think the way forward for us in life who want to be as happy as we can be, essentially, and get the most out of this life as we possibly can while we're here, the way forward is to really go backwards. Mm-hmm. I truly believe that.
I heard Andrew Huberman the other day was saying that he has one phone that he can only call and text on. And he said that's all he can do. It may even be like an iPhone or whatever, but he hasn't put any applications on it. And then he has his other phone that stays at home, and he said he uses it like a computer. And he said an hour and a half a day I will go on there, and I might, whatever he's doing for his job or whatever. But I thought that was a good idea because then you've got one phone, like you can still call and text, which are valuable things that a phone gives you. Like that's valuable to have that. But then as you keep layering on all the access to everything you can have, most humans just don't have the discipline to not get on it if you can get on it. And so I thought that was a really cool idea, and even thought about going and finding me a daggone flip phone or something and leaving that joker at home. And if you need me, you can call me.
I've committed. This is going in the ocean in 2028. We better not need it for our jobs anymore, or I'm screwed. But I want to something you said about going back. Like, what do you say? Go backwards?
Yeah.
I don't like that terminology. I don't believe humans should regress. But I think the way to view it is like we properly utilize the technology that is now considered outdated. Like, it's not regressing back to use
a Nextel.
To use older technology or to still utilize the daggum radio or to use or to drive a car that doesn't have a dang computer chip in it. You know, like to drive an old Land Cruiser. Like, that's not regressing in my view. That all of that is technology of the past that is still valid and still good and still usable, and in certain applications better than technology of today.
Because it makes you think.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's regressing. I think the new technology that we have should be used for its intended purpose. Like, I don't think it has to be bad. It's bad. You're only talking about why it's so bad because it's taking over our lives.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to have iPhones not exist for the world to be a utopia. Like, it's ultimately people's fault for abusing it.
They're irresponsible.
Like, I understand it is designed to keep you locked on it 24/7, and it may be an evil agenda behind it, but like, it is ultimately our choice to do that and to use it how we use it. Like, I don't think it's a problem. I don't think like all these people in these companies and Elon Musk and whoever works for him that's developing these things should just be like, hey, you're giving a government mandate, stop. You're ruining the world. Like, no, man, they're probably creating things that we would be really thankful that they have, and medical advancements and all of this stuff that we've generally in the past considered good until it crosses some certain threshold. Usually that threshold is humans starting to abuse it. So I don't think technology should stop or we should regress. You just have to make the individual choice to utilize what's available technology-wise, what's coming out new, and put it in the proper framework. I mean, that's kind of what Blake is advocating for. Like, I don't think, why should we go backwards? Like, why should we go into these AI companies and say, stop working on this crap? Yeah. No, I mean, just don't abuse it.
mean, I guess my beliefs fit kind of in that. I'm not telling them to stop working on it. I'm just saying I reject it. And I think that you're a fool if you partake in it because it's ultimately designed to hook you, and it's like playing with fire, man.
But AI is way more than just that.
Well,
I mean, like if you know, you needed some medical procedure one day that instead of a surgeon using his hand, it was a dang AI robot that had a tool at the end of it that would perform it flawlessly. It's like, why wouldn't you utilize that? I mean, what's wrong with that? We utilize certain medical things now that they didn't have 100 years ago. Like, why don't we reject that? Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just only when it crosses this line that's all blurry. That's why we get in this place now where we're like, what do we do? You know, but I don't think you should stop. That's the thing, man. We've had this discussion before about what is natural. ChatGPT is natural, in my opinion. It's as natural as this dang table, because it's humans through the collective knowledge that we've built along the past, driving forward, then you make the dang light bulb, then you make this, then you make whatever supercomputer, then you make AI. It's all natural advancement and evolution of technology. So you're not going to stop it. And I think there should just be efforts to put it in its right context and utilize it in the proper amount versus just stop it. Or
I think technology has grown so much that we can't wield it. I think like the light bulb, that's a great example. But then what happens? Which, you know, you had candles, whatever, to provide light, but then people have their light bulb and they stay up way past what a human should stay up. Yeah. And then, you know, the radio. I told my kids the other day, I said, you know, we used to have to listen to the radio, and if we wanted to listen to a song, you'd have to call and ask the radio station to play it and just hope you heard it on there. We couldn't just play every single song that we wanted to hear in the 10-minute drive.
Yeah, you had a blank tape in the tape deck waiting for the song you wanted to play so you could rip it off the radio onto the tape.
Yeah, and so and then you watch TV and you would have commercials every 15 or 20 minutes. Now you can play something on Netflix and you can watch it perpetually without any commercials ever. And so we lose like we get every single thing we want as fast as we want it, and it's becoming to where we can't wield it. So it's a good point, like technology is good, but to the point it is now, humans either I just think that they can't wield it. I think we can't wield it.
So what is the answer? Is the answer to to put a stop to the work on these things?
Are you talking about if I was warlord?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what you would do if I was warlord. Yeah.
Golly.
Yeah. I mean, it's never going to happen, but
I mean, really, like, because I think that's a ridiculous assertion. Like that, you're not going to do that. It's
100%.
You're not going to put a stop to it. You probably shouldn't put a stop to it. But what is the answer to fix the way we abuse it? And
I say you use it to the extent that you can responsibly use it, and what that is, it's going to be different for like. But can we all use a light bulb?
Yeah.
Responsibly?
No, not really. Because
exactly.
Most of us stay up on it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think from a biblical worldview, we know what the answer is.
You're not going to stop it.
Yeah. The answer is the utter annihilation of all that is, and then everything to be made completely new.
Yeah.
The way that it was originally meant to function, with man in this creation completely content with his union with his creator in a perfect world, right? So ultimately, I guess the answer would be the destruction of sin.
Yeah.
From the whole equation. And you say you seem like they'd fall again. You know, I've always wondered how to interpret that portion of...
Doesn't it seem like it'd just be a cycle that just kept going?
Well, I've always wondered how to interpret the end of the book of Revelation when it describes basically Christ returning as king, and then the 1,000-year reign on earth, but then it falls again. And then after that, then everything seems like, when you read it, after that, then everything basically is just completely, the earth is just, is vaporized, and then a new earth is made, right? I've always wondered how to interpret that.
It does almost seem like we could just do this, different people, just over and over and over again, and that's what eternity is. It's like, does that make sense? Yeah. I mean, I'm not actually saying I believe this. It's just an interesting thought of like a new heaven and a new earth is created, and then, then it kind of starts over, and then man falls again, and then you go through history again, and boom. Like, I'm not saying I actually think that. It's just an interesting thought of like just a dang perpetual eternity of,
rise and fall
of man. Because in that view, God would never lose any control, or he would never not be king. It's just like a cycle that continues. And
which is interesting if you think about like the speculation on the Egyptians and things, and people speculate about like the sort of technology that they had to create the pyramids and to move that and laser straight cut the rocks, but then now all of it's lost.
Yeah.
Like nobody knows, right?
Yeah.
And then it's like, if you think back to that time, we can only think, they had just rudimentary, just no tools at all. And here they are moving this stuff, rolling it on a wobbly tree log 5,000 miles. And it's,
there's been some wild stuff happening on this earth that we don't have a daggone clue, man. I mean,
wild stuff happening today that we don't.
Yeah, I mean, you read about too the account of the Tower of Babel in the Bible, and that was in very, very early human history, according to the biblical timeline. And like here, you have mankind building a massive structure.
Yeah,
that's reaching into the heavens. Like that took some engineering to create that thing.
It's so significant too that was done when everybody spoke this and could communicate.
Mm-hmm.
I mean
one language.
Yeah, I mean that's it's interesting.
Yeah, when you look at so many, you can look at so many different aspects of what we would see as common in the human experience, and when you really try to get down to the foundations of it, you're like, language is one of them.
Oh, dude.
When you think about language,
mind-bending.
I mean, obviously, we totally take it for granted because it just is, right? But when you really try to get down to the root of it, you're like, this is weird, dude.
Yeah.
this is freaking weird.
Yeah, that you can say different ways and move your mouth different ways, and people just understand what you're saying.
You're just making a series of sounds.
Yeah.
How, when?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're surrounded by really miraculous things that we just take for granted. And speaking of a weird thing, I wanted to tell you guys about this strange vision I had the other day. I shared it on Patreon on Resurrected the other night. And I'm usually hesitant about sharing these things because people will take this stuff the wrong way, right? So I preface this with saying this vision that I had could have just been something that my mind created, right? I'm not saying that this is some message from God or the Holy Spirit or anything like that, but I think it is, I think, in alignment scripturally with the experience that I had with this vision, and it was impactful to me. That's the reason it kind of stuck with me, right? So when I'm just sitting around daydreaming, it's different than something like this. But again, not saying that this is anything supernatural or anything, but I had this vision that I had left the earth and went to heaven, and I actually entered the presence of God in heaven. And when I entered the presence of God, I could do nothing but just fall down onto my face.
Seems pretty accurate.
Like, just that's all. I didn't want to do anything else. That's just immediately what happened, right? And it was also interesting because when I say the presence of God in this vision, I didn't see like a form or a being. It was just this massive, inexhaustible light that had no horizons. It had no horizons up or down, left or right, and it was just constantly kind of moving. But in here, like, I felt just this overwhelming sense of just like, I don't know if humility is the right word, but at the same time, like this overwhelming presence of just love. And I'm just fall on my face before the presence of God, and I'm there for only what feels like a few seconds. And I'm like, I never want to leave this place. And I feel like I'm there for a few seconds. And then it's made known to me, not through words, but just through some communication to my mind. I realize that I had actually been there for over 1,000 years, and it only had felt like a few seconds.
Sounds like you died the other day.
It's weird, man.
And came back to life.
And so when it was revealed to me that, oh, you've been here 1,000 years, I looked back and I could see kind of time and space, and the earth had actually just already passed away. And so I just thought that was just like, wow, man, it really impacted me. It impacted me because so many times I've read places in the Bible where it describes the throne of God, and it describes angels and these beings that are there worshiping God eternally, right? Just over and over again. They're chanting certain things. They're just lifting up praise and worship to God the Father eternally. And when a human reads that, you think, that doesn't sound like too much fun. Like, really? I'm going to be in a place for all of eternity just worshiping God? Like, I got to have something better to do than that, right? I mean, you think that for real. I mean, like, surely God's going to use me for something, right? But in that experience, being only a few seconds and actually 1,000 years had passed, and then during this, right after that, God sent me to do something, and I had to leave His presence there, His throne, right? And just the whole time, I don't know what it was. I don't know. I just had to leave. And the whole time that I was gone, all I wanted to do is be back there on my face, just worshiping Him. That's all I wanted to do the whole time I was gone. And so another thing that it made me think about is so many times we talk about our loved ones who go before us, right? And we think, oh, they're looking down on us, right? They're watching after us, whatever, they hear they're laughing at us right now or whatever. And like, I don't think them jokers are thinking about us at all. I think they are in the presence of a God who is so mighty and so loving, and they're outside the spectrum of time and space that they're like literally a single moment is 1,000 years in the span of in the scope of time. It's like, because in that vision, that's another thing. Like, I didn't want to be anywhere else. I wasn't thinking about anybody. I didn't want, that's just, like, there was no other option than that. Didn't need to be. I was completely fulfilled. And so that was just a really cool thing that made me think about a couple of different things that I think we could maybe understand better in Scripture if we contemplated the magnificence of the riches that are in store for us when we reach the kingdom of God. I mean, Blake did a lesson on Resurrected the other night about the riches that we have here on this earth and in heaven that are offered to us as the children of God. But man, I don't think we contemplate those or even study those out, and maybe you don't need to, I don't know, but it gives you a different perspective, on thinking, oh, Pawpaw's up there looking down on me. Like, no, man, Pawpaw is so content right now that he ain't worried about nothing. He ain't worried about grandma. He ain't worried about his nobody. He's just here, and he can't even think of nothing else because he's standing before the Almighty God, his creator. It's like, no, man. Come on, man. But we are a people-centered world, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, or pet-centered. You'll make somebody mad telling them that Fluffy ain't going to be in heaven when they get there.
I know, man, because we can't comprehend anything bigger than that.
If you have a dang brain, think about it, man. You're worried about your cat being in heaven. No. I don't know what it's going to be like, but no. It ain't going to be there. And if it was, you don't give a flying crap. I mean, I agree with you 100%. Like, why would you care about anything else?
We can't comprehend
How would you care about anything else?
Yeah. Yeah.
That seems pretty simple.
Yeah, I don't know, man. That was super impactful to me. And whatever reason I thought that or had that experience, I'm thankful for it because it kind of just shifted my perspective. And I think it shifted my perspective in a real sound way. You know what I mean? Not any wazoo crap. You know what I mean? Like, there's so much wazoo crap out there, man. But
people make millions of dollars writing books about what heaven's going to be like.
Oh yeah,
it's just all stuff they've made up.
Yeah,
it's just like, oh, well, you're going to do this and you'll talk to this person and your dog will be there and you'll be happy and it's like,
I seen the other day, this guy said that God had given him permission to sell plots of land in heaven, and he was selling plots of land for $100, and people were buying them.
Really?
So there's some wazoo stuff for you there.
Dad, boom.
So he's right. There's some wazoo stuff out there. Go ahead and get your plot.
Yeah, I mean, I think ultimately the only reason that I wanted to share that with you guys is just to maybe help you to maybe recenter your focus on what is in store for you when you pass from this life into the presence of your Creator and Almighty God. And I just think that we obviously can't fully comprehend it, but we are so human-centered that we don't even scratched the surface of being able to even contemplate it. Yeah. So I want to share that with you guys. All right, Chili, I'm going to hit the head, and then we're going to get into the news, Bubba.
All right. Back to Russia.
Up with Russia.
So, do you believe that... Were we talking about Al-Qaeda when we were still on record earlier, or did we cut that out?
It's going to be cut out.
Okay, well, do you think that the U.S. is funding that in Syria? Or could Russia be involved in the Syrian conflict as well?
Well, I do know at one time.
Because you think Assad is backed by Russia, right?
And Iran, yeah.
Do you think Russia's actually involved in that?
In the downfall of Assad?
Yeah, like in actually taking him out. I don't know that they really like. I don't know that they are truly. I mean, there's some weird games being played with that.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I'm not sure who Russia is actually supporting. See, they want it to be as if they're supporting these certain groups of people and make it known worldwide. But I'm not. I don't buy all that.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I could go with that.
Ready for the news? Well, so you wanted to hear about Syria, Chad?
Yeah, what's
McCord knows a heck of a lot more than I do, so go ahead.
Well, I don't know it to be fact, but this. So Assad, the
Bashar.
Bashar,
Yeah, Assad,
the now former president of Syria, his regime was backed by Russia and Iran. And now these Al-Qaeda-affiliated, air quotes, rebels, who he has been in ceasefire with for, 13 years or something like that, have now taken over Damascus and run him out. And he has fled to Russia. That's about the gist I know about it. But like me and Chili was talking about a while ago, I thought Al-Qaeda wasn't nothing, no count anymore.
Al-Qaeda don't even exist. I mean, that's a bunch of crap.
So who is equipping these rebels?
Probably Big Daddy Uncle Sam.
Okay.
If I had to guess.
And so why would it be in the U.S. interest to oust Assad in his regime?
Well, if Assad is truly backed by Russia and Iran, then you have took that main base of support away in that region or in that specific area.
Yeah. If he's backed by them, truly.
If he is truly backed by them. Yeah.
Okay.
But I saw there was Israel was striking on Syria.
Was it?
Is that true?
I don't know. I haven't.
Maybe I misread something. It was like Israel's involved in that, and but that's just spreading fake news. This is the real news.
So, in these rebels that are basically taking over the country of Syria, they are doing it under the banner of Al-Qaeda?
Yeah, being affiliated with Al-Qaeda.
Okay.
As if they are being backed by Al-Qaeda.
And so now that they've ran...
Who could they even back? Backed by what?
Exactly.
And so what, does anybody know, now that they've ousted the Assad regime, what do these rebel forces plan on doing? Are they going to establish a new government? Are they going to establish a democratic republic in Syria? Does anybody know what's going to happen here?
I have no idea. The back when ISIS was big, before it was as tethered as what it supposedly is now, you had U.S. forces and Russian forces in Syria fighting against these different extremist groups. That Russians was trying to help the Assad regime keep hold, and we were just trying to help keep ISIS beat down from becoming as big as it possibly could. Not really working together. And like me and Chili was talking, there was even a time where we accidentally missiled 100 Russian troops and killed them all. and the whole thing. It's a weird situation over there. Like I said, I don't know the full scope.
Dude, I bet that place is like the freaking Wild West right now, dude.
Yeah.
I'll bet there's some dudes over there. There's some special ops dudes over there just freaking laying waste, dude. I'll bet. Yeah, for whatever reason, I mean, I think that we have all come to the conclusion that the United States of America has become such a corrupt organization that it's a shame to say, but people who are in the military who are going and fighting for these agendas in foreign lands are just basically being used as pawns. But hey, they're having fun doing it. I guarantee you they're having some fun doing it. I mean, that's what those guys live to do, you know? That's what you live to do when that's your job, is to go over and be in conflict like that. I bet it's a wild place right now.
It does just sure seem like a lot of the things that we go and conduct, the actual purpose of it is either just is completely withheld from anybody, or and it's lied about the purpose to everybody, including the people that are going to fight.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Or
the guys who are going to fight and assist in these conflicts, they're getting whatever the same propaganda the media is putting out. I mean, the soldier doesn't really know what's going on. The soldier just gets the same propaganda that the citizen gets. Yeah,
it's crazy.
So how could this Damascus, was that the capital city?
Yeah.
Okay. Isn't Damascus is that I know that region is mentioned in biblical accounts and stuff, right? But how could this conflict that is seeming to ramp up, how could it fit into the bigger picture of things? Like, could this be something that leads to another big conflict, world conflict, something like that? I mean, is there any speculation around that?
Well, this is what I had read. Since Assad's dramatic flight to Russia on Sunday, Israel has attacked Syria more than 400 times. And the United Nations is protesting and attempting to block Israel from doing so. Yet, Israel's military has continued to launch a military incursion into the buffer zone that has separated the two countries since 1974, and they've attacked them over 400 times since Sunday.
Israel wants to wipe them all out.
I mean, that's crazy.
That is, yeah.
You think they're just like attacking now because they know things are in such turmoil?
That's what I would say. I mean, just the basic explanation of it. Yeah. Not that it doesn't go deeper than that, but yeah, like he's gone. There's, it's in a state of flux right now.
Yeah.
And Israel could say, well, we're continually aggressed from this region, so we're going to...
This is a perfect time to attack them because we really ain't got to worry about them attacking us back right now.
Yeah. It's a lot of those countries over there, it's interesting. Like Saddam, when he was over Iraq, he kept his pimp hand strong. He kept those people in check.
Yeah.
And it's easy for me to say it not being involved with anything and not having to go through any turmoil like that in my life. But Yasser Arafat in Libya and Muammar Gaddafi, he kept his pimp hand strong, son. Those people didn't act up unless he allowed them to, unless he had said act up. And I'm sure the same thing was with Assad. They didn't act up unless he allowed them to. And now he's got run out. And I think if Israel's got any thought into it, he's probably like, well, they about to try to act up because Daddy ain't home no more.
But it does, Israel's kind of getting blasted, I think, by the UN for doing that. And then, that'll affect, you asked about how it's going to affect other countries in the world and world conflicts. I mean, that's going to affect the U.S. greatly.
Oh, yeah.
Because we're backing Israel hard right now. Just with the Israel-Palestine conflict, because that's so much in the news. You've got the college kids protesting in college campuses for free Palestine or whatever, with zero understanding of the complexity of that conflict. Yet a lot of people in the U.S. will defend whatever the crap Israel does.
Yeah.
I mean, like, whatever they do for any reason, which that's also not, I mean, people have their reasons for doing that, but when they overtly do something that you go, well, that's out of line, like, people just refuse to call it out. So it makes it a complex situation. Also, for the fact that Israel is attacked regularly. I mean, all of these countries want to take them completely off the map, and then the line that everyone loves to use is, well, Israel has the right to defend itself, but then the line gets blurry when Israel makes offensive attacks when they're not even directly being attacked at the moment. They're always being attacked, but it'll be, they have so many different points of interest, and they
would call it a preemptive attack.
Yeah, they have so many. They have such an advanced military because it's the U.S. That it, the lines are blurred on, well, what was this in response to, and what was this for, and how does this affect you, and why'd you need to do this, and Israel's not squeaky clean. I mean, that's my stance.
Oh yeah, of course not. Yeah,
but it'll be very interesting if they're not stopped from continuing to like attack Syria, because they'll just move. I mean, that will expand. If that's not stopped, or the U.S., it would really be the U.S. trying to put a stop to it, then that will continue, and boy, that would ramp up Middle East big time. The dang Israel-Palestine stuff's pretty piddly, really. I mean, it's not, but like we make a huge deal out of that. It's when all these countries get involved and Iran gets heavily involved that it's serious.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I see I can see the logic of why Israel would be striking Palestine right now. It's a preemptive strike.
Well, they're attacking Syria.
I mean, Syria.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what I just said.
Palestine.
Syria.
Yeah.
Because they are, if it is this simple, which it could be, like they're thinking, okay, this place is in a state of turmoil right now, and this is the perfect time for us to just keep it that way.
Yeah.
Because if we allow them to regroup, obviously we know that they will, after they regroup, and if they regroup as something stronger and more violent, then they are going to come after us. So it's a preemptive thing, you know. And they're just basing their decisions based off of the past actions of these other countries that surround them and want to destroy them. Israel is a freaking war horse, dude. Good
Well,
night.
the U.S. loves when Israel is using up their dang weapons because we'll just send them more. I mean, we love that. We don't really want Israel to be totally at peace. I mean, that's against the direct interests of all the military-industrial complex.
Oh, yeah,
and selling weapons. So, yeah, we're happy with it in the state it's being right now.
Yeah.
We just technically try to keep it from getting too out of hand. I mean, what do you think? How quickly do you think the ramp up would be if Iran got heavily involved? Like, they made some serious direct attacks, not through proxy. Said, all right, we're going.
Well, I mean, they direct attacked Israel 2 times already.
No, but I'm saying like, and it's not in check, and Russia gets involved, and I mean heavily. It's all that way now. That's the thing, is it's never not happening.
Yeah.
But like full on declare war, drop serious heavy. I mean, that's what I'm talking about. Like, it's been like this forever.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. You talk about it like you said. Well, they already have, but I mean, like, what is the point of escalation? I guess is what I'm asking. Like, what escalates it to just?
I think probably, and it could always be simpler than what we speculate or what we think we know. But this in Syria is probably directed from the attacks that Iran did directly.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like this probably is part of the escalation, and where it stops, that's what we have no idea in.
Well, it's about time for another war.
Yeah, I guess that's what I'm asking. It's like, yeah, they are constantly involved, but like what escalates it past the point that it just, to me, it seems like it stays about this level. Mm-hmm. Like, well, we won't touch these and we won't do this, but we're just going to keep going back and forth this way. And it's like at some point it's got to give or take.
Yeah, well, the main, the way I see it as being is when the big players get involved, the neutralizer's always the nukes. So the U.S. and Russia don't directly want to say we are fighting each other because there's the underlying nukes. The reason there's just constant unstableness on the coast of Asia is because China has nukes, and we have nukes. And it's whoever is going to have the big enough cojones to drop the first nuke. Yeah. Unfortunately, that's what it is. Whoever's going to like buck and be true about it. Not, I'm not bluffing, Bubba. This joker right here has a nuke on it. Like that's going to be the overall show enough escalation.
Do you think there's any chance? We'll move on, but do you think there's any chance that a quote unquote small nuclear weapon would be utilized and then it wouldn't escalate into just a bunch firing off?
Like one of those tactical nukes?
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, that has been. When was that last used?
I don't think that Moab we dropped was a tactical nuke, was it? Chad knows way more about that.
Yeah, I don't even know what has and what hadn't been used. Like,
yeah,
I guess if
dude, all I know about is the Carl Gustav, the AT-4, the Law Rocket, the RPG. I'm a small arms guy. I ain't into no cruise serve, intercontinental, ballistic, nothing. I don't know nothing about. If I can't put it on my shoulder and pull the trigger and fire it, I don't know a doggone thing about it, son.
Yeah, I don't know. But I just wonder if that could get utilized and it not escalate.
Well, that's what Russia's main gig is, right? They're saying that if the Ukraine is backed by another country that has nuclear capabilities, then that should give them the right to use nuclear weapons under the guise that we could provide the Ukraine with a nuke.
But why haven't they? Well, because they're afraid we'll...
Yeah, nuke them back.
Exactly.
Right, yeah.
Do you think that would happen? If somebody uses one, is it just going to be all hell breaks loose? Or
yeah, I think so.
You don't think one could maybe get used and then everyone's just like, whoa.
No.
We need to calm down.
They're going to use one. Why wouldn't they use another? I think it would be more likely for if it was to happen like with what's going on now from Russia, that it would be some type of surprise nuke like to Germany. Or to us or something like that. I really do. If that happens, that is the war. That's immediate war, period. I think it's just as bad as if they was to do it to the Ukraine.
Wouldn't that be crazy if that happened and it was just a total surprise? Truly.
Yeah.
Like not even a joke. Like everyone was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Whew. Yeah. Things would change quick. Well, anyway, let's talk about this healthcare CEO that got shot.
Oh, yeah, I saw something about that.
Real quick, what's up with that? You have any theories about that?
Sounds like the dude was giving people improper prescriptions.
Man had an infected bursa and couldn't get his antibiotics till the next day.
Yeah. I mean, what do you expect? You ain't going to be around long like that.
Yeah.
No, tell me about it, Chill.
No, that's it.
This is my segment of the show where I get to get what I love about this segment.
You get cozy.
It literally frees my mind up from having to think about or study what is going on, and I know I'm just gonna get a weekly report of what's going on around the world. You see, this is one of the most valuable portions of the show to me. So. This guy was a healthcare CEO.
United Healthcare CEO, Brian Thompson. He walked out of a Starbucks and just got clapped.
Sometimes we just don't give a rat about somebody. The way we explain, just dropping nukes, they're going to, who's got the big enough balls to drop the nuke? And now this guy just got clapped. What in the world?
Any speculation?
I heard Mario's brother shot him outside of a Starbucks, and he had a suppressor on his pistol, and it malfunctioned, and then he shot him again, and then he had a dang hoodie and a backpack on, and then they turned out to be, there's another picture of him, and he had a different color hoodie and backpack.
Yeah.
What's up with that?
Well, they caught him.
Well, they supposedly, they had another guy apprehended, right? And then now it's Luigi. They think it's this kid named Luigi.
Wow.
Thank you, Bubba.
Well,
I can do things like that now.
Mario's brother.
So I read that someone got denied some type of stage 4 cancer treatment that was involved with the person that did the shooting.
Luigi?
I'm not up on who it is, Mario or Luigi. And that's what set him off. But I don't know that to be fact.
Well, I don't know. I guess we'll just move on quickly. Do you think this was just a lone actor, or was there something behind this? I don't see what's the point of taking out Brian Thompson if it's some global cabal that's conspiracy.
Did you say he took a Greyhound up there, Corn?
Yeah, from Atlanta. From Atlanta, he did, and wrote some stuff on the bullets. Now, was that stuff written on the bullets, or could he buy the bullets?
It said
that?
Deny, defend, depose.
Yeah.
He wrote
he wrote it.
I think he wrote it on the casing. Yeah.
Deny, defend, depose.
He clapped him.
I'll tell you what.
That is disrespectful, isn't it?
Yeah, that's pretty disrespectful.
No, I mean really.
Yeah.
Like I'm not even being funny. I'll pull that back. I mean, the man did die.
Yeah, he did die.
Seriously.
Yeah.
He's a human being. He was the healthcare.
Well, I was just joking. I wasn't actually calling you out.
No, but I'm calling myself out now.
Okay.
I mean,
speaking of, did you bring that cig for me? Thank you.
But he used a ghost gun too.
Dude, what is this world that we're living in,
It's
man?
fallen, man. It's the same fallen world what has been the world.
My gosh, man. I mean, it's just, yeah, you're right, man.
Yeah, but I mean, no kidding, that is terrible. I mean, whatever you think of if this guy was a scoundrel or not, like it's freaking horrible. Because whether there was some conspiracy around it or not, which I don't even know what the speculation would be that there is one. I mean, he clearly died. It's a dang security camera footage of him being shot. I mean, it's terrible.
As the social media's going wild about it, as if that shooter was a hero. You know, got the big corporate.
I know, dude.
Man
that's terrible, man.
That is. It's terrible.
For real, like that. That is true. Like some people are celebrating that the dude got shot.
Really? Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, because he's the, healthcare CEO. He's a bad dude. It's like, well, maybe he was, but I mean
that's not the proper way to handle that. Yeah,
that's right. Absolutely.
I'm so glad that Edgar's watching this podcast right now. Edgar,
he's probably helping us with the foreign affairs big time.
Edgar's in the comments right now, laying down some word.
Probably going crazy.
Yeah, and I wanted to encourage Edgar because obviously his background in his military service, being a Green Beret, his background is in like toppling regimes and governments and forming resistance and stuff like that. So I want Edgar, if he has time ever, on his new podcast and Edgar, drop the name of your new podcast in the comments here so people can listen to it.
What do you say about Syria?
Well, I didn't see that, but I would like to hear his opinion on what's going on in Syria because that's really his lane in terms of what he's trained to do. So it's interesting stuff, man, and it's complex.
Did he talk about Russia?
I don't know. I just saw him make a comment.
Well, what the heck, man? It's probably.
I'm sure he knows what's up. I'm just over here bouncing around the wall.
No, it's good.
No,
it's
you
good,
explained
man.
what was happening. I'm saying whenever I said what I said, both about Russia and Brian Thompson. It's not real good.
It's wild, dude. I mean, it's freaking wild crap that people would be celebrating that instead of saying, hey, no, how about we utilize our justice system to bring these people to, to justice for the crimes that they are committing.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's almost like the United States of America, in a very subtle way, is moving towards a third world existence. Almost, in some ways.
I don't know. we're not third world in a lot of ways.
Yeah, but like second world, maybe. I guess what I'm saying is I feel as if the United States has reached its zenith already, and it's descending.
When do you think that was?
90s.
That's a good question. I mean, yeah, the 90s were like everybody was just like living it up, man. You know what I mean? It was, I don't know, man.
Definitely before Y2K.
Yeah. So, anything else in the news?
Yeah, local news.
Oh, local news. This is right up our alley here. Is Tuesday, Miss Marjorie Taylor Greene had a bomb threat at her house, and the Floyd County bomb squad descended upon her property.
I saw them pulling out of here. That's where they were going, huh?
Yeah, and of course they found nothing, but the threat come from a Russian IP address.
Of course it did.
Yeah. Unfortunately, though, when they were responding to it, a lady was hit and killed while one of the officers was responding. He was actually in his personal vehicle. Yeah.
Are you freaking serious, dude?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the bomb squad.
I'm not sure if he was part of the bomb, but he was called to respond to the incident location.
And he hit a lady.
Yeah, in his personal vehicle.
Will charges be brought against him for that?
I'm not sure. The Georgia State Patrol is investigating that. Yeah.
Good night, man.
Yeah.
Man, that's freaking terrible.
Yeah.
Poor Marjorie too, man. I mean, Marjorie is she's just trying to do the best she can, right? Look, Donald Trump he spends a lot of time on his feet.
Right there.
Yeah, Donald Trump spends a lot of time on his feet. Donald Trump needs somebody to wash his feet, all right? She's just doing the best that she can to keep Donald Trump on his feet for as long as possible so that he can save our country. And here people are targeting her on a bomb threat. I feel so bad for Marjorie, man. Good night.
That's it for the local news.
Well, good news stories this week, guys. Y'all did real well. I mean, y'all are getting better and better. Every week you guys are getting better.
Thank you, Bob.
Oh, did we mention this episode is brought to you by our partner at Drink Hoist?
You didn't.
Right there it is, son. DrinkHoist.com. Made right here in the USA. No preservatives. Tastes good, does good, keeps you hydrated better than water. I can guarantee you that. We've been using Drink Hoist for a couple years now here at 307 Project, and if there's one thing that I know, it's that we do harder things than you do, right? So if Hoist works for us, keeps us hydrated, keeps us going, it's going to do the same for you, all right? They're awesome people behind an amazing brand. Hoist has got all the things in it that your body needs to keep going. When you're out there sweating, getting after it, working hard, it's got calcium, potassium, magnesium. Got about 70 calories per bottle. Sits well with the stomach. It's easily digestible. It never upsets your stomach. The flavor never gets old. And I promise you, if you try Hoist, you're not going to be disappointed. So what we do is we go to drinkhoist.com, we order a couple cases of Hoist, and we just keep them around the office. We keep a little bit at the house. That way you can grab a bottle when you're going in and out, doing what you need to do, and it's just there. It's available, and I promise you, like I said, you're going to like it. Check them out at drinkhoist.com. It's better than just pure water in terms of keeping you hydrated. As a matter of fact, it's clinically proven to hydrate you 110% better than water. And did I mention it's made right here in the USA, man? Check them out, drinkhoist.com. Quit using all that freaking crap you buy from Coca-Cola, the freaking Gatorades and all that crap. And how about you make an effort to support a company that not only has a better product, but it's just good people that actually freaking care, all right, about their customers. Check them out, drinkhoist.com. We got any super chats,
Yeah,
Blake?
see them super chats there, Hunter.
Robert E. Lee.
We got a lot of them.
There's been a bunch of people on the live today.
We had Marty Bingham come in at $9.99. He said, "Greetings, knuckleheads and Brooke." Except she ain't here, Marty. I signed up for the 307 trail race. Sweetie Bo Petey will not be with me, so I'm going to smoke it this time.
There you go.
What was he saying? His wife was holding him back.
Yeah, what the crap's up with that, Marty?
Oh.
Freaking old geezer.
He come back in at $9.99. Said if I can sell enough catalytic converters before June, I'll apply for the basic course. I hope it gets full. Lord of the Flies. I will bring the conch shell.
There you go.
Well, stop dang super chatting your money, Marty. Save for the dang basic course or something. Good grief.
Is the basic course already full?
No,
So we might could squeeze him in.
I've only decided to fill half of the spots.
Okay.
He come back
We
in
got
at $4.99.
we got 16 spots next year.
Okay.
He come back in at $4.99. He said, "A wop bop, a loo bop, a wop bam boom."
There you go.
Marty, you daggone geezer, man. You're losing your mind, dude.
We had Eric Logan come in at $20 with his 20th super chat,
Whoa.
Dang,
and he
man.
left that
Eric.
heart emoji.
Yeah.
Appreciate that,
Hey,
Eric.
that's a good one for the 20th.
Thank you, Eric.
That's a good one.
Cape Town, VA, coming at $37. Question: just ran 100K on technical trail and met my goal, but I saw guys with great paces signed up for 100 mile on the same course, run 11, 12-minute pace, but quit at 55, 62, 75 miles. How can you be so fit but quit?
That's a question?
Yeah, he's saying he just ran this 100K. He saw a bunch of guys signed up for the 100-miler running real fast but quitting early. He's saying, how are they running so fast and quitting
Well,
Well,
early?
they probably blew up.
Well, he seems to be equating somebody's physical fitness to that they won't ever quit or that they're really.
Yeah, man. What
mean,
happens to those people that are trying to win a 100-miler like that? They go out as hard as they can go, and they go as hard as they can go the entire time. And then if they blow up and they realize they can no longer win, they think, well, what's the purpose of me even finishing the race? That's generally what happens with people who are running in front of the pack, right? It's the same thing that happened at Cruel Jewel whatever year. I think it was last year that I ran. Georgia Jewel, when I ran and got second place. It was like there were 3 or 4 people in front of me until the last 15 miles of the race, and they just blew up and they realized they weren't going to win anymore, and so they just quit at the last aid station. So that's what people do. A lot of people do when they're trying to run up front and win. That's their only goal, is to win, and when they know they can't win anymore, they just don't run anymore. Yeah, that's not the right thing to do. You should finish what you start. But that's what happens.
We had Brad DeVroy come in at $5. Love you guys. Been watching for a while. Have you gone over how 3 of 7 got its name?
Yeah, we have gone over it. It's probably on YouTube somewhere. But the
It's pinned to the YouTube channel. Yeah.
Okay, it's pinned to the YouTube channel. Yeah, go watch that, guy.
Travis Van S, $19.99. I rucked a marathon with bunker gear on and a 40-pound rucksack back in August. We'll be purchasing the plan, fellas. God bless.
Heck yeah, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, Travis.
That's a serious
We
ruck.
appreciate it, man. And yeah, the whole thing about the ruck training plan, I guess, got cut off, and now it's in a separate video somewhere on YouTube. But yeah, you guys go check out the ruck training plan that Chili and Cornbread just designed and dropped for you guys on the website. Go check it out. What's that cost, Chili?
$15.
It ain't but $15
$15
for a 15-week training plan.
$1 a week.
$1 a week, bub.
Holy crap,
why
dude!
we
That
did
is
it.
cheap.
That's why we didn't know.
Have you sold
it's
any yet?
appropriately priced. I think so. $1 a
Like
week.
Travis bought one.
$1 a week.
Oh my gosh, dude, that's a no-brainer.
I'm going to buy that.
Thank you, Travis.
James Wright came in at
I remember
$1.99.
him.
He said,
Pipe
when are
dream.
we going fishing or a hunt?
That's a pipe dream, bub. It's a pipe dream, James.
They did get us a couple of crossbows. That's a cool unit right there, son. Them crossbows are sweet. Yeah. Chili, you be all over that crossbow, son.
Use a gun.
That's a bad unit, son.
We had Ryan come in at $9.99. Nice training plan, fellas. Great for practical strength and endurance. Looking forward to get after it.
Heck yeah, that's awesome,
there you go.
Man.
Thank you, Ryan.
Red Lightning coming at $9.99. Can we get a rant opinion piece from Chad about electric cars and electric lawnmowers?
Just keep tuning in. He'll do it again.
If you drive an electric car, you must have been castrated at some point in your life, and you no longer have a ball sack or balls.
Cybertruck's bad as the phone.
That's my opinion on it. And if you have an electric lawnmower,
pretty decent.
You are just a fat, lazy turd, man. Get out and cut your dang grass, dude.
Yeah.
Freaking turd.
With a sickle.
Please help me, 123. Come in at $10. Thanks to Chad and team for great discussions each week. It's such a blessing in my life as I return on my walk with Christ. Surely you've come across it, but I felt compelled to share it.
Well, no, that means a lot to us, brother. And we thank you guys that tune in week after week, man. I mean, we wouldn't do the podcast without your support. Every one of you guys who have given a super chat, who have tuned in, who have bought something from our store, who have supported one of our partners, like, you guys understand, you are the reason we're able to do what we do, and you're the reason why we do what we do. So when we get to hear that maybe something helped you or entertained you or inspired you, it means a lot to us, man, because this crap takes a lot of time and it takes a lot of effort and thought, and we just appreciate you being here for us, man.
Fishing USA. Fishing USA come in at $9.99 with their third super chat. No message.
Thank you, Fishing USA.
Fishing.
Please help me, 123 come back in at $10. Wayne Grudem's Systematic Theology and Christian Ethics. I just ordered a copy of each, and there is so much information available there for those with inquisitive minds like yours and mine.
Thanks for the recommendations, brother.
Trip come in at $49.99.
Whoa. Good night, Trip.
I love you guys. I'm looking forward to seeing you and improving my performance in March at your trail race.
Heck yeah, man.
Trip.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the trail race in March too. That's a hard track to run. You guys better be ready to grind, son. Old Jenkins Gap don't disappoint.
Dude, you know when you say good night, and you have all these theatrics? Well, I was watching that video, Shooting All My Guns, the other day that got demonetized by YouTube, and you put that dang presidential, like, nuclear message at the beginning of it with you sitting at the table, that doomsday message. And some of the reactions you had, that video is the best one on the dang channel. And, like, hardly nobody's watched it. But you shoot that one and you go, good night. And the way you look at Blake and he starts laughing.
The
best thing ever.
You can't figure on why these YouTube videos do good and some don't, because it's like our Ruck video. Our Ruck video was a masterpiece, dude. It barely gets any views. And then I post a stupid truck talk that's titled Get Ready, It's Going Around, and it gets 250,000 views in like 3 days. And it's me saying I got the flu and Blake told me to upload my freaking receipts to QuickBooks. You cannot explain that.
Yeah,
man.
but you followed it up with your cure.
Oh yeah, and that one didn't do good, and that was the zenith of my comedy.
That's like, a new word, zenith.
Yeah.
Well, we had Sooner Guy 44 coming in at 307. Tip on who's tech brainwashed? Apple users.
There you go. Thank you, Sooner.
Thank you, Sooner Guy.
That's true.
We had a Silverback come in at $19.99. I agree. We needed to go back, but that conversation looks more like we are looking at a generation of adults that got a trophy for just showing up to the game half the time. There's no pride in outperforming the next guy.
That was me. That was my generation.
Yeah.
Got participation trophies.
Now, Hunter, you make sure you never have that camera on me when I'm blowing or wiping my nose, Bubba. All right? So do a little better job at what you've been asked to do today.
Thank you, Gorilla Lala.
Good night. Disrespecting me on day one.
And he disrespected Chili.
What you're going to understand if you're going to hang around here, everybody's job around here is to make me look good. All right?
What you're going to understand, Hunter, is that never take anything we ever say serious.
And we got to preserve the existence of the Mazda.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm telling you, that thing,
That was Mazda on Mazda violence. Right
it wasn't
there.
a Mazda.
No, he's driving a Lexus, dude.
What?
Yeah, it's a Lexus Prius.
Oh, he got that good insurance, bud. He got that good insurance.
I'm never.
Hey, Hunter got that daddy money,
He
son.
got that good
He got
insurance.
that daddy money.
I'm never
Man driving a Lexus, son.
never getting rid of the Mazda. Never.
We had Fishing USA come
Never.
back in at $1.99 with no message.
Thank you,
Thank you,
fishing.
Fishing USA.
One tack Tundra, $1.99. Long live 307 Project. Love from Oklahoma.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you, Tundra.
Robert Lee, $10. Thank you for
Lee.
sharing about your heavenly vision.
Oh, thanks for listening, Robert.
Thank you, Robert.
hates
He's
Lee.
always on here. You remember how many he dropped last time?
Yeah,
Blake hates when.
he does, though. It's not that big a deal.
Fishing USA, $4.99. Chad, what do you think about the second rut in northwest Georgia? I arrowed a giant with a broken main beam from fighting. I'm watching live in Calhoun, Georgia.
The second rut is the rut.
The second rut is good. It depend. Well, I think that depends on where you hunt. The area that we hunt is so inundated with does because I refuse to allow anyone to kill does. I am anti-killing does.
There's
And
6 ruts at Chad's house.
Dude.
The does don't get bred. There's literally 6 ruts.
there are literally so many freaking does where I live that it is ridiculous, and they've become tame too. Like y'all don't understand. I go over there to walk them goats and them donkeys of an evening, and they will stand there 20 yards and just look at me, man. They don't give a crap.
Let's kill 20 of them.
No, we're not killing any does.
Just 20.
Those are not causing nobody no harm. Look.
Well, then bucks ain't causing you now a bit of harm neither.
Yeah, they
bub.
are. A buck will come up and rape a doe.
He said that before.
A buck is abusing does. All right? We are not. I don't tolerate that. Not on my property. If a buck wants to act right and wants to court a doe cordially and propose to her and take her around, show her, here's some good acorns for you
They're
to eat.
deer, bub. They don't do that.
Here's you a good bedding spot and all this. I'm cool with that. But when I have a violent buck coming through my doe herd and doing what he does, chasing them around, running them ragged like that, I will kill you, buck, for doing that.
No matter how old you are.
Well,
So,
you're going
the
to
second rut's on. I was just out in my yard, what was it, 2 days ago, Blake?
Yeah.
I was out in my yard, and I had a pretty decent buck chase a doe right in front of me about 20 yards. He had no care for what I was doing. I'm surprised he didn't turn around and try to attack me. So it's on right now.
Well, you're going out of town for about a week. Me and Chili's going over there buck hunting.
Y'all going this evening?
No, not this season. It's too windy.
Nobody better ever kill a doe on my hunting lease.
I was doe hunting the other day.
You going this evening, Blake?
No, I got to go do some running around in town.
I'll go over there.
Fishing USA come back in at $9.99. Billions of aid sent to foreign countries and not one dime spent to this day for the reconstruction of the South after the War of the Northern Aggression.
That's what I'm
Let
talking
that sink
about.
in.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking. Yeah, for real.
How about not even where the money's being spent? How about just quit taking our freaking money, man?
That's all I want.
How about you just quit taking our money? Like, look, man. So I'm homeschooling my niece, and we're going through our history book. It's actually about government. She's learning about government, and there's so much of it in there that talks about taxes. And I'm just so hesitant to teach it, but
she needs to know what it is.
Well, yeah.
You need to be aware.
Yeah,
I mean,
but it spends taxes in a good light. You know what I mean? Like,
don't do that.
Your taxes are being used for your roads and your buildings and public safety, and like this is what your taxes are for. You know.
No.
We had old Jeckerette. Y'all remember him?
Oh,
He come in at $4.99. Driving from Arkansas to Idaho currently. Jesus Christ is Lord. Thank you guys for what you do.
Man, thanks for listening.
Thank you,
Enjoy your
Jack.
drive, brother.
We had Fraser Spowart come in at $4.99.
Spowart?
Yeah.
That's how Blake says it.
He said there's a good Scottish drink coming your way for your Wednesday water review. Been enjoying your resurrections. Thank you for all you guys do. God bless.
Thank you,
He
bro.
allowed it to be Swedish?
Scottish.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah,
you,
like
man.
your last name.
Hey, man,
Thank you,
them
Fraser.
water reviews on Patreon, that's getting big, son.
Oh, yeah. That's
That's bleeding over now into the live podcast.
yeah.
We've
Yeah,
been
y'all
working-
want to know about them water reviews, you got to go join us on Patreon,
Well,
son.
we've been working really hard on them water reviews.
I mean, burning the midnight oil, bub.
I'm talking about consistent with them.
They're torturing a caterpillar in that dungeon too.
Don't talk about that.
They've got a caterpillar
Don't talk about that.
in a sack, waiting on it to die.
My gosh.
Jeckerette come back in at $1.99. He said, "Is Marty actually physically fit?"
Is Marty actually physically fit?
Whoa, who has that?
Jeckerette.
I bet that's Marty's.
That's disrespectful.
That's probably freaking Marty.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, no, Marty is not physically fit.
I disagree
But
with
that
that.
joker is tough.
You don't think Marty's fit?
What's wrong with corn?
I mean,
Dude, Marty's too old to be fit.
He's broke down about that caterpillar.
well, what is? I mean,
Yeah,
how fit?
animal abuse,
How
man.
fit are we talking? Like,
He's too old to be fit. Switch the camera.
he is too fit. I mean, it's not like.
Yeah, Marty's fit.
Well, Chad just dipped out. Thank you, Jackarette.
We had Mark Carlson come in at $10. I did Chili's 5 core exercises that he posted, and I dropped my 5 mile and 7 mile times by about 20 or 30 seconds per mile. Thanks, Chili. Keep up the good work, fellas.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
How about that?
Deal. Good work, Chili.
We had Chris Jolly come in at $49.99.
Good night. Just don't quite have
No
the same.
message.
He didn't allow nothing?
I just don't quite
Thank
have
you,
the same
Chris.
effect, but he's gone, so.
Thank you, Chris.
We had Deplorable Lawn Guy come in at $9.99. Chad, in regards to your recent ailments, I believe I have found the culprit. Are you familiar with the biblical story of Samson?
Did you hear that? You cut
Deplorable
your
Lawn Guy said your ailments due to cutting your hair.
Well, God, you don't know freaking jack squat about me. You're going to come up, anybody going to come up in here talking about me like that? Well, I'm going to tell you what. Look,
And he only gave $9.99.
you know where I'm at. You know where I'm at.
ship the water bottle.
I will run you into the ground, son. Y'all don't take my niceness for granted, all right? Coming up in here saying some crap about me like that.
Thank you, bub.
Appreciate
Chris
that.
Jolly just gave $49.99.
Good night.
We had Gatekeeper Radio 347
Paul
come in
Porter.
at $9.99. No message. Fifth super chat.
Thank you,
Thank
Paul.
you, Gatekeeper.
Thank you, Paul.
Oh, he's giving way more than 5 super chats.
No, that's not what this allows.
Oh, bull crap.
Thing's glitched.
Clayton Lindsay coming in at
That's
$1.99
that
with
big
his
dog.
10 super chat.
There you
He
go.
said, y'all boys need to put Chili on a dang buck.
He won't hunt.
He's hunted hard this year.
3 times, Clayton.
He won't
Beat
hunt,
that.
man.
Beat that.
Yeah.
You know what?
Wasn't the right time.
These two right here, neither one of them will hunt. These two
Corn will only
right
hunt a
here
turkey.
have just become like sidekicks, and they've become impotent. All right. Jokers don't hunt.
By
man.
golly, I've killed the far out of stuff. I whooped your tail in a turkey hunt. Don't tell me I don't hunt. I've killed 2 public land bucks. I killed a hog on the public. You can't even hunt public land. You won't hunt if it ain't in your backyard.
Look,
I ain't going down the road to hunt.
look, man. Turkey.
Who's
First
the
of all,
next super
turkey
chat? I'm taking
hunting
this July.
ain't
Who's the
hunting.
next super chat?
Turkey hunt. Now, you talk about killing a turkey. You just talking about like equal to like shooting a squirrel or something. Man.
One thing I did learn from this past turkey season was Chad knows how to read the land way better than you do.
By golly, he don't either. Y'all gonna get me to cussing on here. Who's the next super chat?
We had Justin Hayes come in at $10. Love y'all. I think about Rop 009 a lot and how valuable that experience was. New baby coming in January. I'm a better man than I was before the Rop, so thank you guys again.
Praise the Lord. Thank you, Justin. Thanks for tuning in, man.
Red Wrecker come in Red Wrecker 1023 come in at $5. No message.
Thank you, Red Wrecker.
Thank you.
And the last one that I'm reading, I'm not going to read that one. He's too late. Clayton Lindsay come
Big
in.
dog.
$4.99.
Big
CB, sing us a little Johnny Paycheck. Old son, these yuppies don't know nothing about that outlaw country.
Not for $4.99, bub.
Yeah, man. You're going to have to come in with a little more money than that.
Hey,
what the crap?
Why has Chad quit singing? You remember when he went on that singing stretch?
Yeah, we have a guitar strapped to the wall right there, and you won't even play it no more.
Oh, I'll play it. Don't get me wrong. I quit listening to music, but maybe I'll have a song for y'all next week.
You quit listening to music.
Yeah,
Thank you, big dog.
I ain't listened to music in months. Yeah, I'm not a big music listener.
On account of cutting your hair, or
No,
I'm asking when you cut your hair.
ain't big on it.
Okay.
On account of being sick.
It's been fun. We love you guys. Enough said.